The one big mistake I see a lot of creators do is thinking that they can do everything and they know everything, and not delegating and finding people, like not finding a good editor and letting them be a good editor, not finding a good business person and letting them do that. So a lot of creators started early, 15, 16, 17, 18. They never worked for anybody else. They never had a mentor teach them how to manage. And so they bring people in to work for them, and they're like frustrated that they can't do what they want. Like they don't communicate with, you would think like creators communicate so well through the camera, but they don't communicate with other people that well sometimes. And so it's very difficult for them to let go, because the early part of creating, you control everything. But if you want to grow, you got to let go. So what are you not good at? You got to be clear with yourself. What are you not good at? Maybe you're not good at editing, or there could be a better editor. I mean, so many times I've heard creators say, oh my God, I hired an editor and it changed my life. Because suddenly all this time I was spending editing and I didn't really like it that much, somebody else did, and they're better at it than me. And now I can do so much more. So that's amazing.
Yeah. We had that conversation at NAB. I mean, I was watching a conversation. Was it, I think, LR, who was?
Oh, RJ Larice.
Yes, it's RJ. Yeah, we were talking about this as well. Like sometimes they also have their cousin helping them out, or it's their brother, and there's a point where you have to let go.
Yeah, you got to let go of that too. Finding out the people that are holding you back is another big thing. I mean, but think about it with sports stars, right? Think about I don't know, whether it's hockey or whatever sports. It's like sometimes you'll see a big player come in. It's like, oh, who's your manager negotiating that deal? This is my brother, or it's my cousin, and he ends up with a deal that's like leaves all this money on the table. Everything is like, oh, and then eventually like, yeah, I fired my cousin and I brought in a professional agent, and now I'm making like 10 times what I was making.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, that plays out in many different forms of media and celebrity and other things. But, and look, by the way, sometimes your manager and the person you grew up with is amazing. Like there is a creator, Crazy XYZ in India, and he tells a great story. He and his it was his friend, Chitrench Jan, and is now like his manager. But the two of them, like their story is really interesting, because it was like they were friends a little bit and then not, but he came in and really they bonded and have built a great business together. And so sometimes that happens. And he's like 30, 40, 50 million in India. He's huge in India. But just the connection that they had and the way they built it up, and they're still friends, but they built a great business because Amit, Crazy XYZ, was able to know what he didn't know how to do and give it over to his friend who was really good at it. Another mistake is not being consistent. So put a video out there, and then a year later, you put another video out. Or you're like, I'm going to do it every week, and then you take 6 months off. So I've seen creators just basically, like, they're great, they're on the upward trajectory, and they stop. Now, there are a lot of reasons to stop, a lot of mental health reasons and others. But when you start creating and you set yourself a schedule, make sure that you think about ways to take a break, but still be able to fill the pipeline. So Mark, a great creator, has been doing it 13 years. He banks his content, and he just had a baby. And he's like, I'm having a baby. I'm not going to be traveling. I can't go out to Africa and find like some weird animal. I can't go here or there. But I have all this content that I've banked so that I can do this thing and then come back in. Also, it depends on the platform. So LinkedIn, where I create, they don't really want you to do more than a post a day. And TikTok, TikTok, they want you to do, and Instagram, if you're doing stories, like lots of posts a day. So think about what the platform expects as well, but also your audience. Yeah. And that's another thing. Another mistake is not understanding taxes. So let's say you're a creator, you're going up, you're doing brand deals, you're getting $10,000 a brand deal. You kind of all of a sudden in a year, you make $150,000. You're like, man, I'm living the good life. Well, you know what? Did you think about taxes? Did you hire an accountant? Because that $150,000, depending on what country you're in and where you are, you got to pay some to the government, you got to pay some to the state, you got to do this, you got to do that. So not understanding taxes and then realizing at the end of the year that you need to pay a third of that in taxes and you spent it all on wine, women, and song, that's a problem. One of the mistakes, find your platform. A lot of people are creating for the wrong platform. Maybe they shouldn't be on YouTube. Maybe they should be on LinkedIn. Maybe they shouldn't be on TikTok. Maybe they should be on Twitch. So find your platform, and even if it's not a big platform, if you like it and it works the way you work, go with that platform.